Okay, hi everybody. Okay, nobody's here yet. I am just getting everything situated so I can invite you all to this class. Bear with me. Just takes me a couple minutes. Okay, I want to go here. Copy. Now we just gotta wait for everybody. Yay! I think I'm organized to go. Get this all cleared off. Oops. Let's get organized here. How are you? Long time no talk. Hey, Nicole. We were all just chatting, weren't we? That's hilarious. Oh, I'm chilly. Love it. You taking a break from doing the backyard, Nicole? Or not Nicole? Yeah, Nicole. Still can't wait for you to get your sewing room all set up. Can you guys hear me okay? Hi, Kim. Oh, I feel like I've been on here all day. I still don't believe that I didn't turn my camera off at the end of that live. Oh my goodness. So glad I could go back in and edit that and that I wasn't doing something embarrassing like picking my nose or something. Time are we looking at here? 3:57. Oh, it's your rest day today. Gotcha. How much longer do you think you have before it's all done? Sound is good. Thank you, Kim. Guess I gotta get my phone all situated for this. Get it set up over here so I can see the chat. There we go. Just give it, we're not going to give it, like, I'm only going to give it like 5 minutes for people to join in, and then we're going to get started because we have a lot to get through today. Oh my goodness, a full month before it's all cleaned up. Hey, Nicole, must be crazy. But I guess if the previous owners lived there for how many years, that's a lot of cleaning. You want to come and do my house after? I'll let ya. Hello, Anna. Kim's working on a custom lavender and twine pattern. Oh my gosh, amazing pattern. Which one are you working on? All of the lavender and twine patterns are absolutely amazing. There are a couple I haven't done. I haven't done the Solista yet, and I haven't done, oh, I don't remember what it's called. It's another one that's kind of panels. It's similar to the High Wraith, but a little bit different. Same kind of idea as the High Wraith and the Ridden Asia. And the Sky one I haven't done yet either. Oh, was it a hoarder's house, Nicole, you bought? Wow. Ah, yes, Kim, that backpack convertible bucket type bag. Yeah, that one looks really cool. Lavender and twine writes perfect patterns. Really, really, truly, she does. Did everybody get their homework done? Who's sewing along and who's following along today? Hi, Annie. It's funny, everybody, like I have a list of names here with everybody, and everybody's logged in the order I have you written in. It's bizarre. Too funny. So we do have a new member that has joined for the Tuesday, Thursday classes. Her name is Heather, so she does join us. Please, everybody, give her a warm welcome when she gets here. And Heather, if you're watching this in replay, welcome. We're so happy to have you here. Anna the Sloth is going to try to keep up today. I don't think you're as slow as you make yourself sound. Nicole's following along. Karen's a spectator. Looks like we're going to have 3 of the admins in, Anna, Nicole, and Karen. So they're all here to help me if I see any comments missed or to help answer questions or what have you. Thank you, ladies, for coming in to help. So for this class, we are up to 14 members. And for the Thursday class, we have 34 members. How amazing is that? And then we got 2 Beans Peeps members. It's just amazing how much is growing. Annie, you're so far behind. You're watching. Oh, yes, you're finishing up your George, right? Finish it up so I can add it to the video I'm going to do on Friday. Almost have everybody's done. Can I take my Aster out? So, oh, for this one here. So we got the exterior done. I already kind of pushed in my sides to start getting it to remember that shape. So we're going to be finishing up the lining so you can see how the sides go in. Ooh, I think it's just ingenious. Look at that. Love it. I'm awesome. Aww. I'm gonna be crying. Thank you. I'm really, really happy with this bag, how it's turning out. I think it's going to sell as soon as I post it, I hope, for Starbucks fandom. But I am, as I was saying in the homework class, that before I post this, I'm tempted, well, I don't know if I have time, but I'm tempted to make a matching classic zipper round in the Starbucks. Because I think I could probably sell a set super easy of this. So I'm trying to hold out to see if I can. And if it doesn't sell as a set, I know they will both sell separately for sure. But it's turning out really good. Look how awesome this yummy pearl vinyl. And you're not enjoying the George at all. I don't mind the George, but yeah, it's yeah. You could try it as hers, maybe Annie, the way she does it in the pattern as a birthing, but I tried her method of birthing for that and it nearly killed me. It was not a good thing. Oh, there's Melissa, another one of my mins here to help. Thank you for coming in, Melissa. Dawn's been here for every class to help. I don't know if she'll be, I think she's got church, but we'll see if she pops in. But yeah. Karen says, make the set, it'll sell. I hope so. It'd be nice to make some money. It will look, if it doesn't sell online, it'll look awesome and sell at my markets for sure in November. So I'm super excited about that. Okay, who else did we get in here? Am I missing? Annie. I used to hate binding too. But then something's changed and I found a method of binding that works for me. So that may be all you need to do, is to try all the different methods of binding and find out which one works for you, and then guaranteed you'll love it. It just speeds up the bag making process so much. Also easier on a cylinder arm and industrial machine, I won't lie. All right, am I missing anybody here? Just checking down my list. So we'll give it another couple minutes and then we are going to get started because we have a lot to get through this class. I'm just going to go, I was edge painting. I've got to go and grab my zipper overlay. So I completely changed my zipper overlay because mine that I had originally cut was way too big for the bag. So I made another one using the Rudinasia zipper overlay. So I got that all edge painted in homework class today. See, Melissa's prime example. She says she sucks at binding, but is starting to enjoy it. It's just something you end up getting used to. Again, I used to hate it about a year ago, and then I started, I made the circle bag by Aura Rosa, and then I somehow, it just clicked, and I could do it, and I loved it. So it was like night and day. Like one day I hated it, and then the next day I'm like, let's bind all the bags. All right. Alrighty. Well, if people pop in, I'll mark them down as they come, and we will get started. It says we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I'm going to put this down to table. We are going to work on our interior zipper pocket first. Okay, I think that looks good. I really need to get some new mats. These ones are getting really tired looking. Okay. Bear with me as I get organized. Find my double-sided tape. So most of you know how I already do this because you've been in all of the classes. So you are going to grab, so by now we should have both of our inner lining pieces with our pockets done. Now, I'm only putting a zipper pocket on one side. You can decide if you want to do 2 zipper pockets. I'm only doing the one. That's all I ever do in this one. Oh, Karen loved binding the first time she did it on the Betsy Bowler. Yeah, yay! I love it. Okay. So, we are doing it a little bit different than the pattern because we're doing the overlay. If you haven't already, find your center top of this one of the main pieces. Where are my scissors? I cleaned up too good. And for classes, I can tell you right now, whenever a drop-in binding bag is voted in, we will be making it a bound bag. Full disclosure, that's what I will always do because I prefer the binding myself. Okay, so just gonna see how far down they recommend putting the zipper pocket. One lining pad on the top edge of your zipper pocket lining piece should be 1.5 below the top edge. Okay, so I'm going to start, it says 1.5 inches down from the top edge, and I'm just going to kind of see where this band starts because it's 1.5 inches down from this inner thing is what it wants. So I am going to put it, this is 3/4 of an inch right here, so I'm going to put it, I kind of honestly just kind of eyeball where I want it to sit, remembering that there's a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance here. So I'm probably going to put mine down right about there. So about 1 inch down from the top is where I'm going to do it. Annie, I do not like waterproof binding either. I can only do it myself with double fold bias tape. It's the only way I can make it look good. Okay, so on the back of my overlay, again, if you're using a domestic machine, you can definitely use the double-sided tape still. So along the top here, you just want, I'm going to put my double-sided tape. Just make sure you're keeping it within, I don't know if you guys can see that because my light's so bright. You want to make sure you're keeping it away from where we will be top stitching this on. So I have mine down maybe 1/4 of an inch or so down from the top edge. Oh my gosh, I just had my, why do I keep putting my scissors away? My goodness. So you're going to put it along the top and along the bottom of the overlay. Also feel free to do the zipper as per the pattern if you do not want to do an overlay. It's completely up to you. Okay, so as I said, I've decided I want mine to be about 1 inch down. So I'm just going to take the tape off the top part and I'm going to find the center point of this. So 1 inch, and I just eyeball it. I'd say it's, for mine, it all depends on all of your overlays. Mine are about 1 inch in this way and 1 inch in down that way. Just want to make sure you're leaving enough space for your, this will be branching out to a 1/2 inch or more seam allowance. You got to make sure that there's at least a 1/2 inch in here so your overlay is not going to be caught into it. And same with leaving at least a 3/8 around here because that will be sewn under when we sew it to the bag. Okay, so once you have that part down and it's nice and straight where you want it to be, mine's not quite straight. I'm going to redo that. There we go. Okay, so got that top part down. I'm going to do my other part here. And I find you take this and you just let it fall and it'll go nice and natural right where you need it to be. So now we're going to take this to the machine and we are going to top stitch just around this outside edge. We're going to pull our threads long so we don't have, what was I on? So we don't have the back stitches. You can back stitch if you like. You just know that I do not like to do that. So let's go on over to Tiffany and we will do that. Okay. So again, I'm pulling my threads long. Holding them back and starting on a point on the top edge of our overlay. And then once you get going a few stitches, you can keep going. I'm going to just double check that my, oops, I'm just going to loosen it a little bit. My tension's just a little bit. Okay, it's good now. These overlays just add, I find, just add that little extra something to a bag that makes it that little bit more professional looking, in my opinion. I do all my linings the same way. My clients expect it, so I will always change my linings up to have the slip pocket with the accent and an overlay of some sort as well. Okay, so when we get about halfway, and we have our starting threads here, I'm going to pull up this side, and where my bobbin thread is, from my starting thread, I'm going to pull it, and you'll see there a little loop comes through. You're just going to pull that loop, and what that loop is pulling through this top thread to the back. So you want to do that before you get all the way around. So now I have no starting threads on the top, and I can continue my way around. Okay, and as we come back to that starting point, when you're about 2 stitches or so away from there, that's where you start hand cranking, because you want your needle and the last stitch to end in that very beginning hole or stitch that we started. Once you've done that, pull it long again, hold on to your threads. You don't want to lose track of them because you want to know which one you're going to be pulling. Flip it over. And to try to show you this, my bobbin thread is right here, so I can let that top one go. I'm going to pull on that bobbin thread till that loop comes up. And you're going to see here, my top thread is going to start pulling through, like so. And then we have a seamless line here, and we'll tie that off at the table. I'm just going to change my chat on this. There we go. Okay. Okay, so this is what we got here. So you can see we've got a nice seamless line, and we have all 4 of these strings at the back here. So now we are going to take them. That's kind of glaring at you guys, sorry. Take your 4 strands and tie them in 3 or 4 knots to tie them off. And I just love how this gives a look of not having that back stitched area where the thread is all kind of clumped up. You're more than welcome to still do it. It looks fine to do it as well. This way, I just think it looks just that little bit better, but that is my opinion, of course. And then I trim this off. Oopsies, nice and tight. And then I take my lighter, because I'm using a bonded thread, and I just kind of melt those threads, and it kind of makes this catching on fire. You can see it kind of makes another little knot right here on this side, and I just find that that helps secure the threads just a little bit more. So that is what we have. Okay, did anybody else pop in here? I don't think so. All right, so now what we want to do is in the center, I'm going to just take my rotor cutter and cut part of the center away, like that. Then we're going to take our scissors in there, and now you're going to cut this into V's. You're going to kind of go under. See how your overlay comes up? You're going to go under your overlay. You do not want to cut that overlay. See how I'm under? You can see my scissors are there. Don't want to go all the way to the stitches, but you just want to cut that fabric into the back, like I've done here. See? And then you can see the vinyl on the other side. So you want to go ahead and do that into all corners without cutting that overlay or those stitches. Same with on this side. Again, I know most of this is repeat for you guys, but I want to explain for anybody new that's coming in. Oh, hey, Dawn. How are you, Dawn? Okay, and then flip it over, and we are going to cut away this excess. So kind of from those V's, making sure you're not cutting the vinyl overlay, you're just cutting away some of the bulk behind. And this will also make it so these raw edges are out of the way and will get buried, and we don't have to worry about them fraying. Same with this little triangle piece. This does not have to be pretty. Nobody will see this unless they take the bag apart. Going a little deeper there. So you have something that looks like that and like that. And then the next step is on here, we're going to put some more double-sided tape along the bottom, making sure, because we are going to be going 1/8 of an inch away top stitch along here. So you want to make sure you're not putting your double-sided tape right up against where our top stitch will be, especially if you are on a domestic machine. You can definitely use the double-sided tape on a domestic machine, but you want to keep it outside of that stitching. So you can see how I'm going a scant 1/4 of an inch higher. And just putting my double-sided tape along that rectangle opening like so. Then we can set that aside for a moment while we prepare our zipper. So you can see, I'm trying to show you guys here, I'm not right up against, see, right there. Okay, so everybody let me know when you get to that point, and then we will go on with the zipper. As I grab my pieces here. That's the bottom. Zipper. Okay. I'm just going to get all my stuff ready for the next step. Melissa, that's a good idea to use 1/8 inch double-sided tape. Perfect. Where is my zipper jig thing? So while you guys are doing that, I'm going to find my zipper jig because I'm going to need it, and I'm not sure where it is. Yeah, and where are you, zipper jig? There it is. Tell you, I've barely been in this room and I already need to do a deep clean and reorganize. Hi Diane, welcome. No worries to be late. What we have done so far is just made our zipper overlay here. You'll be able to catch that in the replay if you need to do that. So I got Diane is here. Dawn. How are you doing, Diane? Are you sewing along with us today, or are you watching and sewing it up later? Look in the fridge. Oh, Dawn. Yes. Story time. While everybody's finishing that up. So funny story. As my admin Dawn is laughing at me, I have a little bin of all my screws and washers and everything. This is for all of my hardware. It is bad if I lose this. After last week's class, do you think I could find this anywhere? I could not. Could not. So, I'm looking and looking. I have Dave helping me tear apart my sewing room, finding it. Cannot find it anywhere. And then I go to the fridge to get myself a drink. It was in the freaking fridge. Like, 45 minutes of looking for it, and it was in the fridge. And I'm like, I must have went there to get a bottle of water or something and put it in the fridge. I have no idea what was on my mind. So. Anyways, let's get to putting the rest of the zipper pocket in. Diane, if you need any help with the overlay when you go to do it, let me know. I can always help you along. You can rewatch this and see it, or go back and see it. Yeah, you can contact me and I can help you. We're going to be moving on because we have a lot to get done and it's our last class. I do not believe it. Okay. So that's what that looks like now. We can set that aside for now. Now we got to put our zipper onto our our zipper pull onto our zipper. Kind of let you guys see. I'm going to move my camera up a little bit so you can see my fork here. This is how I put my zipper pulls on. So you can use a ready-made zipper as well, but this is how I do it. Oops, that's not straight. Just keep doing it until it goes on straight with no little bubble in it. There we go. Perfect. So again, all my zipper jig is, move this back down. Here's something my husband made out of fork and this, whoops, which way am I going? This, I don't know what this is, clamp of some sort. He just stuck a fork in it. And it works perfect for me, and I didn't have to spend like $70 on a zipper jig. I'm really happy with it. I've been using it forever. Okay. So now that we have that, now these are not going to be, which way are these supposed to go? This way. Okay. I'm just making sure my zipper panels are long enough, and they are. So we are going to, I'm going to take double-sided tape again. Again, if you have a machine that does not like the double-sided tape, I lost my double-sided tape. It must be in the fridge. There it is. You can definitely use clips for this. Okay, perfect, Diane. And just know you can contact me whenever, and I can help you along. Oh, did Melissa just pop in too? Hi, Kim. I'm missing everybody popping in, so. Oh, no, I already said hi to Kim. I knew you were here. And I dropped my stuff. Oh, well. I'm a hot mess today. Again, I'm off of 5 days of mini vacation, and I am just not quite. I needed a vacation from vacation. So on both of my short ends of one of my zipper panels, actually just from one side, and then you're going to do the other one as well on a short side. Okay, then you're going to take one lining panel. I got my camera all wacky now. Take off that tape. I moved my camera and now it's all weird. Okay. So you got your lining panel right side up, and you have your zipper right side up. And we are just going to stick it along that top. Again, you can use clips to do this. And then we're going to go ahead and sew this with about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance around the top here. So I'll switch over to the machine where we can do that. And just kind of a baste onto it. So they're both right side up. So it looks like this. And then while I'm at the machine, I'm going to take my other lining panel here. Take the tape off. And then you're going to take your zipper panel, the free side of it, and make sure that your lining pieces are lined up with one another. And stick down that other side that isn't attached, or clip it on, whichever preference you're using. And then stitch the other side in place. Okay, and then you're going to go ahead, you're going to open this up and just go do a quick press to press these open. I'll get mine heating up here, nice and flat, and then we will take it back to the table and do the next part. All right, so I'm going to just go and quickly press this. If my iron will steam, my iron is not behaving on me. It's almost completely dead. My friend Nicole is sending me a new one, so I'm trying to make this one last as long as it can. Come on, give me a little steam. All right. All right. Now we'll put you back down to the table. Again, in the pattern, I think they have them going this way, which is perfectly fine. We would be trimming it up anyways. I did it this way just because I had a piece of zipper and I know it's long enough. So I'm using a scrap zipper, but we're doing this zipper a little different than the pattern, so it works. Okay, let me clear some of this off again. I'm so cluttered today, it's not even funny. So what you're gonna do, so move all this out of the way, is you're going to line your zipper panel up like this. I have my zipper pull closing to the left, which is what we want. I'm going to take my, just off of the top part of where we put the tape on the back side of our overlay. And we are going to center this, and I kind of feel where my zipper is. I like my zipper to be about the same length as this, so I can kind of feel where it's sitting. And we're going to center that on there and stick it down on the top nice and straight first. So that's stuck on there, and once you're satisfied with the distance it is from the zipper tape here and stuck down, you can lift it up and do the same. Take the bottom off of the zipper tape here, or the paper. Bring your pull up and through and out of the way. And then again, guide this where you want it to lay. I just eyeball it until I like the way it looks. So you're gonna have one zipper panel is facing down, one zipper panel is facing up of your lining. So it looks like this on the opposite side, and it looks like this on this side. Okay, everybody good with that? And now what we're going to do is we're going to take this to the machine and we're going to top stitch this in place around this bottom rectangle to hold that zipper in place. I once again am going to be pulling my threads long so I don't have a back stitched section, so I can tie them off in the back. So let's head on over to our machines and do that now. I didn't check my bobbin thread, so I really hope I have enough in there. I probably should check it, but that's okay. So I'm pulling my threads along and spreading my way around. Making sure your zipper panels, one is going to the bottom, one is going to the top. Oops, I did not change my stitch length. Oh well. So I'm going to have really small looking stitches there because I wasn't doing it at a top stitch length, but that's okay. Okay, so when I get partway through, that's where I want to reach under with my needle down and pull at that bobbin thread to pull that top thread through from our starting stitches, like so, and then continue around. And then once again, when you get back to that beginning stitch, you want to make sure your needle goes down in that same starting stitch. And it's right there. And once again, pull your threads long like we did before, and pull that top thread through. And then we'll take that back to the table and tie that off. Okay, so you can see here my stitches are super small, but that's because I forgot to change my thread length, but it's all good. And I'm going to just tie off those 4 threads like we did before. Three or 4 times. Snip them, and again, because I'm using a bonded thread, I'm going to go ahead and burn my threads, melt my threads. Okay, and then everybody, let me know when you have that done, and we will move to the next step. Any questions so far? We are almost done this pocket. So I'm trying to think, have we done any turned bags yet? Oh no, we turned the net. Yeah, we did a turned bag. We did. I'll give everybody a minute or so. Hi Lisa! You're just watching today and catching up later? Sounds good. It just gives me a good, knowing if you're watching or whatever, gives me a good feel as to whether I am just, like for my pace. We do have lots to get through today. We want to get the whole bag together. Anna is ready. We'll give it till about 4:35 and then we will move on. Anna's ready because she did it yesterday. Cheater. Okay, so one thing we are doing different than in the pattern, actually I'm going to just double check that it is different. We are going to leave the bottom of our zipper pocket open, as well as a opening in the bottom of our bag for turning it through. So I believe in the pattern she turns through the pocket. We're going to turn through the bottom, an opening in the bottom, and seal it up through the pocket. It's my favorite way of finishing a birth bag, so that's the way we are going to do it. And mainly because it's sometimes really hard to pull the whole bag through the pocket as well. And we don't want to have that seam at the bottom of the bag from top stitching that bag if we were to birth it through the bottom. So this is the best, combining both of those techniques into one for a seamless finish. So, okay. So we're going to move on. Let me just go and push it back down to the table. Okay, so now what we're going to do is you're going to pull these down beside each other. As you can see, because I did them this way rather than the other way, they're a little bit longer. So I'm actually going to just trim mine up. You can decide if you want to trim yours up or not to about there. And trim up any of your zipper here so it matches your lining. Like so. Okay, so what I do is I take the bottom part of my bag here and I fold it up like so and give it a good finger press. So you're taking both of the layers, folding it up about a ½ inch or so. Just put a few clips in it to hold that in place. And this is going to give us a nice finish for when we go to close the bag up. Yeah, Anna, it's hard to turn through the pocket. And then a few clips up the side openings here. And the other side. And then we're going to take this to the machine like this, and we're going to fold this part up and out of the way. We're going to sew as close as we can to where the stitching was, so where this won't pull away. We're going to sew down here. I guess it's about 3/8 of an inch or so. Back stitch over the teeth a little bit, and then go all the way down this side, catching that fold like this, cutting our threads, and then going and doing the exact same thing on the other side. So let's go ahead and do that. Whoops, that's not what I want. This is what I want. So again, making sure you are not sewing through your lining panel. You're only sewing through the zipper panel underneath. I like to go, I don't know if it helps, I like to backstitch across the teeth. I just think it helps make an extra stop in case the zipper pull were to get through. I don't think it ever would, but it's just in my brain what I always do. Okay, make sure that folded edge stays under. Cut the thread. You can see how I have my folded edges all like that. That's what we want. Go ahead and do the same on the other side, but you'll be starting from the bottom and sewing up towards the zipper. Back stitch. Okay. You can take these off now. I'm going to go ahead and just trim up these seam allowances. You don't have to trim the seam allowances. They're going to be out of the way. But I'm just going to trim them up a little bit to about 1/4 inch or so. Just remove a little bit of that bulk underneath. And you'll see where we had folded it up, if you put your fingers in the layers and you go right to those stitches, it makes it really easy to pop them out and around. It usually does, because everybody's watching me. It's not now. So you're gonna go ahead and press where that is, where we turned it out and around nice and tight. And that's just when we go to sew up our zipper, we're gonna have all those raw edges already folded up and out of the way for when we top stitch our pocket closed. So I'm going to go ahead and just give that a really good press quickly. Again, my camera still isn't quite where I want it to be. There we go. Okay, so go ahead and press those folded edges under. Make steam for me. Just like so. And then you'll see we have a completed pocket with an opening in the middle, which is exactly what we want. That's exactly what I was going for, Karen. Actually, I was looking everywhere because I had bought it before and it was coffee bean fabric at Fabricland, but they didn't have any more. That's what I really wanted to do, but this brown fabric was the next best thing. Okay, so everybody let me know when you are there. I'm going to just double check. Okay, I'm just double checking, and somebody, I always forget what my seam allowances are, so I'm just double checking what they're going to be. Your bottom piece with 5/8 steps. Okay. So give everybody about 3 minutes or so to get there, and then we are going to put together our lining, which is super easy. It's very similar to how we put the exterior together, with just a few different things that we'll have to do. Not many, just seam allowance related mainly. Messy, 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 Brandy. I did it in my tutorial for it was a coffee themed bag as well, for the flat bottom Magdalena bag, and it had the coffee bean fabric, and I was just looking for more. I didn't have any more in my stash, but it would have been perfect. How's everybody making out? Believe it or not, we're so close to being done this bag. Yay! Let's give it another 2 minutes. If you're finished, please let me know. So you can see how it would be very easy to put a zipper on this side if you wanted to as well. If you're doing a second zipper, you only need to leave an opening in the bottom of one of the zippers. This is the way this is going to be going together. Any questions so far? Everything making sense? Everybody's so quiet. One more minute and we will move on. I hope you guys are really enjoying this bag. Again, this one is my favorite pattern of all time. Like, absolute favorite. I just want you all to love it as much as me. Okay, so we're going to be putting this together exactly like we did with the exterior, with just a few exceptions. So at the bottom of all of our pieces, remember we did a 3/8 of an inch box. This time we are going to make boxes on the bottom of them all of 5/8 of an inch. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw that in, 5/8 of an inch. Same with on the other main piece, 5/8 of an inch of a box. That's the two main panels done. The two side panels, I just tend to draw, I'll do a box. 5/8 of an inch. You can see I was sloppy with my interfacing on this one, but that's okay. Oops, I did a little bit more. 5/8 of an inch. Just on the bottom parts, bottom ends of the lining side pieces, you have to do it. You don't need to worry about it for the top ones. Make sure you don't mix up one of your linings with your bottom. I almost did that once. 5/8 of an inch. This one doesn't look quite right to me. It's because it's not. Stop. There we go. And then on the bottom panel, you're going to do it on all 4 corners. As you can see, I franken interfaced here. I hate waste, so I tend to, with my lining pieces, kind of use up all my scraps sometimes. Okay. So everybody let me know when you're done that. And then we'll move on. I'll give everybody about 2 minutes or so here, and then we will go to start attaching these together. We're so close to being done. You just have no idea how close we are to being done. Did anybody else pop in there that I missed? As you can see me playing with my mouse here. Where did my mouse go? I'll give you about another minute. Let me know if you're done before then. And for all of the new members there, you will always find the very last class, the pace is a little bit faster because we have only until the end of class to get most of it done. And I want to be able to show you as much as I possibly can on camera, especially when it's a turned bag. I want to really be able to show you the final result. So sometimes we got to move at a little bit of a quicker pace to get there. But always keep in mind that even if you can't keep up to that quick pace, you don't have to. We all sew at different paces, and that is what the replays are for, and that is why you have access to me and of course the Facebook group throughout the week for any questions or whatever. So no pressure to be going as fast as I am going here, but yeah, I just don't want anybody to ever feel like they need to be going this fast. But this last class is always a little bit faster. Okay, so we're going to move on. So I'm going to take my piece that doesn't have the zipper pocket. If you've put 2 zipper pockets on, you will want this piece to be the one with the closed zipper pocket, okay? And then you're going to take your bottom panel as well. Still don't have this quite the way I want it. Sorry for moving the camera so much, because I moved it for the zipper jig. Okay, you're going to put them right sides together. Now I'm going to mark on the bottom of this bottom piece here. I'm going to put a line right here and a line right here. Now we're not going to be sewing very much of this bottom panel on this one, because from here to here we're going to leave this open for turning. So the only part of this one we're going to be sewing is from a 5/8 of an inch seam. We're going to back stitch right at this start of this rectangle here, just to this line, and you want to back stitch it 3 or 4 times to make sure that that is not going to pop when we turn. That doesn't leave very much sewn here, but trust me, it's going to be so much easier sewing this bottom, or turning it with the opening in the bottom of this hole. So you want to make sure you are doing this on the side that doesn't have the zipper with the opening in the bottom. So let's take that to the machine, and again we're doing this with the 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, not a 3/8 of an inch, 5/8 of an inch. So the reason we sew the bottom with a larger seam allowance is so the bag isn't as baggy, or the lining isn't as baggy at the bottom of the bag. So I'm going to go ahead and put my needle down at the beginning of those boxes that we drew. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. You can do as many as you want. Stay stitches, and just go to that line and do a whole bunch more. I'm doing lots of back stitching just because sometimes those needles or those stitches will pop upon turning. Not a big deal if they do. It just is better if they don't. And then jump over to the other side, starting at that line. Again, I just guesstimated how much. I left about an inch or so from the boxes that we drew for our sewing lines. Back stitch. Again, this isn't in the pattern. This is just how I do it, so it turns easier, and you will not be cursing and swearing on how hard it is to turn. So So you can see here, so here is that 5/8 box, and I left an inch-ish. Again, I just kind of eyeball it. Left this part open in the bottom. We'll seal that up later, and then did the same on the other side. So these corners are completely free, and the bottom is completely free. Okay? So then, just like we did with the exterior, most of this is rinse and repeat. I'm going to go really fast through this. Really, the only difference is we are using a larger seam allowance until we get to sewing the sides together. So go ahead now. We don't have to leave any other openings. Just like we did with the exterior, you're going to sew the other bottom piece in 5/8 of an inch across between the boxes. And then you're going to do the same with your side pieces. Once we got those in, and we are going to put them in and sew between the 5/8 of an inch boxes on each side. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to all go ahead and do that at the machine. It's exactly what we did with the exterior, but with the 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Everybody good with that? Everybody understand what I'm saying? Okay. So we can go ahead and we can work together and just get that part done. If you need more explanation, please do reach out. Otherwise, I'm just going to go ahead and get this sewing part done. Because at the 5:30 mark, I want to be to the point where we are sewing the lining to the exterior. Okay, so let's sew on this bottom. Again, starting at those 5/8 boxes, not going past the 5/8 boxes. I'm going to use my little guide here. All the way across the bottom. Okay, so we got that one done. Now we're going to do the same with our sides. And this is where, remember, we're pulling these corners apart from each other so we can match up the corners to these side pieces, creating that Y seam. I think I decided that was called a Y seam. It's actually a little bit easier than the exterior because it is a wider seam allowance there, so those boxes are, or those unsewn edges are a little bit bigger and easier to see and grab. I'm looking over for the seam allowance. The original seam, or the seam allowance for the exterior is 3/8 of an inch. For this lining for sewing on just to the bottom is 5/8 of an inch. So for the exterior, you would have done all this at 3/8. The lining part, just for the part we're doing right now, is 5/8 of an inch. It'll change again when we go to sew the panels together. But just for these bottom pieces, you're just sewing the 5/8 of an inch in between those 5/8 of an inch boxes. Does that make sense, Kim? But for the exterior, you would be doing it at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Again, we do a larger seam allowance on the lining, so it's not as baggy inside or saggy inside the bag once it's complete. You're very welcome, Kim. I had to go looking for the seam allowance too. I never remember for seam allowances from one end to the other. I always have Dawn for that. She always tells me what my seam allowances are. I just find when I'm looking for the seam allowance in the pattern, even though it's like right there, for some reason I always miss it. I don't know why. Looking too hard maybe. Okay, so I've got my two sides here, so I'm going to go and sew those on. Okay. I always find the lining isn't quite as finicky either. You can be a little bit more not as not as accurate as you have to be for the exterior. And once you've sewn the side on, remember you want to look under and you want to make sure, like you can see here, see how my marks aren't lining up here because I didn't go all the way on this one. So I'm just going to go back in and make sure that my stitches line up. They should connect to one another, otherwise we will have a hole in the bottom. So now that one is all fixed up. It's pretty forgiving. How about this one? I think we're good. Yes, we are. Okay. And then the other side. It was driving you crazy? I hear you, Kim. Trust me. You and I are the same that way. It always happens to me. So again, make sure you're not sewing through all the layers. You only want to be sewing through these 2 layers. So you kind of got to feel to make sure you're not catching that front panel in these stitches. It should only be the 2 layers. And then I'm just going to make sure that they all matched up. And again, I am slightly off here, so I'm just going to go back in and get them to attach together. Because we do not want holes in the bottom. See? And then all my lines match up along there. It looks super messy. I know. How was this one? Where am I looking? It's good. Oh, it's with this one. There we go. Oh my gosh, the struggle is real birthing that tumbleweed for sure. That's okay, Dawn. All right. So everybody, this is where you should be right now. So I'll give everybody 3 or 4 minutes to get to this point, and then we will move on. We're getting so close. Kim, you're funny. Hilarious. I don't believe we're already an hour on, and I don't believe this is the last class for Aster. Time just goes so fast. I can tell you my tumbleweed tote done was perfect for my makeup and my face care stuff for my trip this weekend. It was amazing. And now all of my friends want one. They hinted really hard. Reminded me of when their birthdays and stuff were. I'm like, really? Give everybody till about 5 after. That's about 4 minutes or so. Oops, wrong machine. I want my face. There we go. Good night, Karen. Thank you for your help today. I appreciate you. Have a good sleep. I guess you are 3 hours ahead of me, so I completely understand. It's only 5 o'clock here. Talk to you tomorrow. Why do I feel like I have a Benny under here? No. Oh, he's at the door. Can everybody see Benny over there? He's right there. There he is. Looking at the door. I think he's guarding the door to make sure nobody comes in and attacks me. Such a good little guard dog, that one. Wouldn't hurt a fly. Okay, 3 more minutes. Any questions? Everybody understanding? Yay, early sewing. Have a great sleep, Karen. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, 2 more minutes. Holy, my hair looks all disheveled today, hey? This is my 3rd live video of the day. Craziness. Oh, Melissa, you're a night owl. I am definitely a morning person. I'll go to bed at 9 o'clock and read my book till about 10 o'clock, and then I wake up at like 4:30 or 5 a.m. and that's the start of my day. One more minute and we will move on. Where did I put my little ruler? There it is. Aw, are you going to bed too, Kim? What time is it where you are, Kim? Are you Eastern as well? Okay, so now we are going to be sewing our, oops, I guess I need to put this down to the table. So we are going to be sewing our sides on exactly how we did our exteriors. The only difference is when we go to put these on, you are going to start to about here from the top. This will be 3/8 of an inch, okay? And then from about here, so this is about an inch, inch and a half down from the top. So you'll sew down at 3/8 of an inch, and then about here, you're going to branch out to 5/8 of an inch. And then you're going to stop where our stitches were at that 5/8 of an inch square. So what that is doing is that is making our top circumference the exact same width as our exterior for when we go to attach it, but making our lining just that little bit smaller so we have a nice and tight fitting lining. So it's not baggy and falling in on itself is what it's supposed to do. So again, for an inch to an inch and a half at the top here, we're going to go down with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance and branch out to 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, stopping and matching up our 5/8 of an inch square stitches right at the bottom. And we're going to do that on all 4 sides. So let's go ahead and do that together. I'm just going to power through and do all 4. In the pattern, this is optional. You could do the whole thing with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, but it is so nice when you branch out like that because it does make it, I'll show you, I did it with this, oh, never mind, it's way over there. It just makes it so it's not baggy and it's a nice, clean, and open inside. Okay, so I'm going to take it and do it one side at a time. We'll go over to Tiffany and do that first side. Making sure not to sew the pocket, kind of put it out of the way. Start at 3/8 of an inch. And that's okay, Kim. There's lots of time to catch up. Again, I won't do the mini movie for the Aster for 2 or 3 or even more weeks because I want to have as many of you in that video as possible. So as you see, we haven't even done the George one yet. I'll be doing the George mini movie this weekend when I have everybody's bags in. Okay, so show you what I did here. Whoops, I'm making a mess with my thread. You can see how at the top it's narrower at 3/8 and it branches out and meets at the bottom at the 5/8 of an inch box. And you're going to do that with all the sides. So I'm just going to stay at the machine here and clip as I go until all sides are done. And Kim, you worked all day. I mean, you're a nurse. You've had a long day. So on some sides, you're going to find that you have to start at the bottom, at the 5/8, unless you do it from the other side. So I'm starting at the bottom here at the 5/8 box and going 5/8 of an inch until I get about 1.5 inches-ish away from the top, and then bringing it down into 3/8 of an inch. So that's 2 sides done, and continue with the other side. So I'm definitely a morning person. My whole household are night owls, so it's hard on the husband because he has to get up at 3:30 in the morning to go to work because he works an hour and a half out of town. But branch out to 5/8 of an inch. Just to that corner. And the last side. What's going on there? I got a strand caught. Where'd it go? All right. So you can see that is mine done, and then you just reach into the holes and poke into the corners to make sure there's no gaps. And I am good. So that is it for the lining. I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes or so to finish that up. And while you do that, I'm actually going to switch my threads over to my cylinder arm because I am going to finish the bag over there. So I got to take all of my threads out of here, out of Tiffany, and move them over to Tommy. Okay. I love finishing my bags on my cylinder arm. It's just so much easier, for me anyways. I love having the best of all worlds between these two machines. Cylinder arm definitely isn't a necessity as it is a want, but it does definitely make finishing the bags easier. So let me know when you're all done there. I actually think I'm going to do a fresh bobbin for this. How's everybody making out? Any questions? Are we good? Oops, I'm sitting in the wrong chair. I'm like, why do I feel so short? And then being able to switch over to the cylinder arm machine is also for the members who have the cylinder arm machines, so they can see how I use them. But I will explain also how I would do it if I were on, oopsies, it's open, my flatbed for it too. Hi Benny, what are you doing? Can you guys hear Benny on my mat here? He's being a little geek. Benny, it's not time to go to the couch yet, baby. Hey, babe. So at my cylinder arm machine, I actually have a drafting chair, so it sits up nice and high because I am so short. Test. Okay, how's everyone doing? And we're good. Okay, I'm just going to double check that I have my camera set right here. Don't mind me as I put my laptop down. I have to hit a button to make sure I can get my Tommy view, and there's my Tommy view. We are good. Oh, this chair sits way high. And you can see the messiness of my floor. Okay, how's everybody doing? Ready to move on? Push the chair out of the way. And I need this bag. Everybody, about 3 more minutes. We're so close to being done. You have no idea. I feel like I'm sitting so tall. couple more minutes. I'm gonna want more clips. One more minute. Any questions, please do ask. All right, so I'm going to put us back down to the table, and now it's time to put everything together. So this is what your exterior should look like from homework, all done. So what you're going to do is you're going to open this up, right up. Make sure your D-rings and everything, well, I guess it doesn't matter. They're not going to be in the way. You want your top panels here to make sure they are facing down, like so. And then you're going to take your lining, and I like my zipper pocket to be at the back of the bag. So here's my front. So I'm going to be situating these. So this is at the back of the bag. You're going to take your exterior, and you are going to put it inside your lining, right sides together. So you can definitely squish your exterior to get it to fit inside. It's going to feel tight around the bottom because remember we made the bottom slightly smaller than the rest of it. That is okay. If we did our seams right, they are going to fit perfectly around the top. So, okay, on the exterior, when you are adding the sides, how do you line it up? The same way we just did with the lining, Kim, where you're going to be, because we had the Y seams, you're going to be, if you go back to where I just did the lining ones, you will see how I pulled it away at that. You think you got it? Okay, perfect. Okay, so we have our center notches that we made in the lining, the center notch that we made in the top panel, and we're going to match that up and put in 2 or 3 clips. I'm going to go ahead and line up those center notches or your center marks, put in 2 or 3 clips. Gonna let it catch up. Okay, I think we are okay now. I kind of just stopped because I noticed that we were freezing up, but I think we are good. So as I said, the front and the back, I matched up those center marks. I think we're okay now. And then we're going to work on the sides. So we want to open up our seams and open up our seams on both the lining parts. And we want to match up those seams. And then clip those into place with 2 or 3 clips. I think we're okay now, hey? Not frozen anymore. Looks like it's okay. Everybody can see okay? It's not freezing anymore. Do the same on all 4 seams, opening up those seams. And clipping them in place. I'm thinking the internet is super busy or something right now, or YouTube maybe, I'm not sure. So do that on all 4 side seams. Everybody see everything okay now? It's all good? Looks like it stopped freezing. Glitchy but not frozen. Okay, perfect. I'm glad that I noticed it and stopped. I saw on my phone that it was doing that because on my streaming software it doesn't show me that at all, so. It's probably everybody watching the apothecary videos, I bet. There's so many out there. Okay, so once you have all of those done, you're going to kind of spread the fabric out in between and finish clipping all the way around, making sure your fabric is all taut. I use a ton of clips, as you know. Okay, and on the side seams, kind of pull it nice and tight. Push in where you need to. Again, this is my first time doing this with vinyl. So you want to make sure that there's going to be no nips and tucks and it's nice and taut all the way around. Because we did the tops at the same seam allowances, they should fit together perfectly. Oh, Coco. Not sure what she's barking at there. Everybody doing okay? We're so close to being done. Yay! So excited. Okay. So then I just go through all of those sections and distribute that fabric evenly. Okay, give everybody about 3 minutes or so to get this done, and then we will take this to the machine and sew it together. Oh, Kim, I thought you went to bed. I can tell you doing this in vinyl, it feels so stiff, but I think it'll be okay. It is much softer when you do it in all vinyl or in all cotton, but we got this. All right, so give everybody 3 minutes or so to get to this point, and then we are going to get this part done. I'm excited. We're making good time. We're actually 5 minutes ahead. Yay! I'm actually going to change out my foot on my cylinder arm because I just realized I have my zipper foot on there and I don't want that on there. So don't mind me. How's everybody making out? Everybody good? Everybody loving making the Aster so far? I want you guys to love it so bad. I'm just getting my laser in place. Okay. All right. 1 more minute. I'm going to switch the views over. Actually, no, I got to show you guys something first. Okay. Let's go to the table. Oh, we are at the table. Okay, so if I was doing this on my flatbed machine, I would lay it down like this, and I would sew it together from the inside of the bag right along here, turning my bag as I go at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Oh no, Kim, it's been tearing and pulling at the seams. That can either be caused from cheap vinyl. If you're seeing like your stitches are pulling apart from each other, I would do another line of stitching 1/8 of an inch away into the seam allowances from the original stitching. But sometimes that is a sign of a cheaper vinyl that just doesn't handle the stitches well. How close, you may be putting your stitches too close together, which are making your holes too close together on the vinyl as well, which would tear it. If Anna is still on, she would probably be the better person to ask what causes that. There she goes. There's Anna. Anna is the vinyl queen. So there you go. I was on the right track a little bit there, but Anna is definitely the one to ask about vinyl and things that may be happening with it, as she would know better. So yeah, I would think your stitches are too small and too close together, which would cause the integrity of the vinyl not to be good. I usually do my stitches at between a 4 and a 5 on my industrial machine. I don't know what I would do on a domestic machine, but there you go. So thank you so much, Anna, for your knowledge on that. So again, if I was stitching this on my flatbed, I would do it from the inside of my machine and turn my bag as I go like this, stitching all the way around, just like you do when you are top stitching. I'm going to take it to my cylinder arm machine and be topping along, or stitching along this side. So let me switch it over to Tommy. Again, for those new people that get confused, my machine's names, my cylinder arm's name is Tommy, and my flatbed's name is Tiffany. So when I'm referring to them in these names, that will explain it a little bit better, I guess. All right. So if I was in my tutorial, this is where you would start hearing music. So I'm going to start at a point. Again, holding my stitches, my threads out of the way. So on a cylinder arm machine, you definitely want to be doing that. And I actually have a laser where I have it marked for my seam allowances, and that is my guide. So we're going to go around with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. You want to make sure you're feeling underneath to make sure there are no nips or tucks, especially in the exterior, because that is the part that shows. We will not be trimming the seam allowance. We'll be keeping it as a whole seam allowance just because of that top panel that we have on here. Lining panel slipped a little bit there, but I don't think it's going to make a big difference, as long as I've caught it somewhat. Now, right where our snap things are, it is really thick, so you may want to have a hump jumper ready for when we do the top stitching, so it doesn't eat your vinyl, if you use vinyl there. So you can see on here where it slipped. So hopefully it's going to be okay. I think it's going to be fine. Okay, so that stitch is done. So, as I was saying, right here, I slipped a little, but I actually kept it still with a 3/8 from this vinyl part. Just mean my lining might be a little bit longer here. I didn't want to go back. I could pull this out and do it, but I think it's going to be perfectly fine. It just means my lining will be a little bit more baggy there, but that's the part that's folding in, so I'm not too worried about that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, once you've done that, you're going to go ahead and through this opening in the bottom, you're going to start birthing your bag through. Again, if you're doing this as per the pattern, you would be doing this through the pocket. It would be so hard. It is so hard. And I really didn't want to do that with a full vinyl bag. So go ahead and do that. I might have to put this against my body to do it. Maybe I'll put you to face cam here. I have my carpal tunnel's acting up really bad, so this might take me a minute to do. But go ahead and birth your bag. Normally when you get the bottom through, the rest will come out a lot easier. This is my least favorite part, but my favorite part of the bag, because I love it when you can see if you've done a good job and how it's all going to look. Sometimes it's so hard to birth a bag, especially with a bum elbow. If David's home, I'd be having him do this for me. Okay. But you'll see once you get a bottom through, the rest will come really, really fast. Like, see, my bottom's through. Hear the little pitter patter of Benny feet behind me here. She looks so good. Right, so when you have it like this, go ahead and reach inside and poke out your corners, which should be really good. And all of your seams of your exterior. Oh, this is so pretty. And then same with your exterior. Go and point out all of those corners. That should be nice. Looks so good. And then you can go ahead and you can stuff that lining into the bag. So I will put you back down to table view for this. So it gives you a really good view of what your bag is going to look like. We haven't top stitched it yet, but it's going to be great. So now what we want to do is we want to finger press these seams down like so. So you want the lining to be inside the bag. I started on the sides, so you want them to be like this. And I'm going to put clips in to hold those seams in place. It's going to be a little bit harder with the lining. You're going to have to kind of finger press that. Because we are going to be top stitching along here. So when we take this machine, we can't necessarily clip along here, so we're going to have to be finger pressing as we go, as we top stitch along there. But these sides you want to make sure are nice and even. So I said right where these join here, it's really thick, so you may need a hump jumper to get up and over that. I think I even may need one if I can find my hump jumper. Oh, there it is. Okay. Wouldn't be as thick if I didn't use all vinyl, but of course I used all vinyl, so it'll be a little bit thicker to get over these sections here. So for these sections here, I would say that this pattern, if using all vinyl, would probably be best on a industrial machine, because this thickness right here where these start can you see how thick that is? It's really thick when using all vinyl. When I did all cotton, it wasn't really an issue, but okay. So this is where we're at. I'm going to keep going because we only have 20 minutes left. So again, I'm going to take this to my industrial machine. We are going to top stitch all along here with 1/8 of an inch all the way around. If I was on my flatbed, I would be putting it against the machine like this and kind of folding this out of the way and top stitching all the way around here. Or if you have a free arm on your domestic machine, you can definitely do it the way I'm going to be doing it on my cylinder arm machine. So let's go do the top stitching. We're almost done. Almost done. Okay, back to Tommy. Okay. So I'm actually going to start my top stitching on the side, just because that part is going to fold in. I've got my home jumper here, nice and handy, because I think we're going to need it. And this is exactly why I bought a cylinder arm machine. It was for ease of top stitching. Again, it wasn't a need, it was more of a want than a need. And we're going to go 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Back stitching. Do a little bigger of a seam allowance. And when you get to where the top panel is, you want to really make sure you're using your hands to make sure your lining is pushed down and in. Okay, so this is where that thick part is coming up. We'll see how well Tommy is going to do with that. I think he's going to need a hump jumper, so I'm going to put my hump jumper in to bring up my height of my presser foot, because I don't want him to eat up my vinyl. Whoops. Okay. I'm going to have to go down and pick that up in a minute. Make sure you're pulling your vinyl nice and taut. And you know what? My thread just broke. Just my luck. So that sometimes happens, I guess. I cut my thread and I have to start again. It's all good. Benny's not happy about it either. So I'm not sure what happened with my thread. I'll just go ahead and rethread it here. It's always frustrating when it does that when you're top stitching. Oopsies. But hey, it happens. Not the end of the world. Makes me thread my machine under pressure. Okay. Top stitching, take 2. All right. I got a hump jumper again. And we will start this again right there. Get it down in stitches where it stopped. Okay, got over it without the hump jumper this time. And my thread broke again. Why? Why? My thread is breaking, you guys. Not making me happy. And the husband is home. He's home early at that. So Coco's gonna bark for a minute. I'm hoping I can get this top stitching done because I am not doing very good with it right now. I'm actually gonna pull out some of these stitches because it looks really ugly on the underside. My tension shouldn't be too tight. My stitches look good. I think it's just not liking going over that hump. But I'm going to try, I'll try to loosen up my stitches and see. That might be a good idea. Again, it's my first time doing this bag in all vinyl, but my industrial shouldn't have a problem with it. I don't know what's going on. Sorry for Coco. She'll stop barking in a moment. She's just saying hi to Dave. Oh, is it wrapped around the thread holder? Do you know it's not wrapped around my thread holder, but it's really tight against the holder. So yeah, loosen it up and we'll see if that helps. Never fails. When you're doing it live, it will happen. But it's very much seen on this opposite side of this bag, or the lining, so I want to make sure I pull out those stitches because it looks pretty ugly. Okay, let's try this again. But I am going to go to a bigger stitch length. Maybe that'll help. Put this down. Okay. I never have problems with my top stitching. Ah! Okay, I think we're okay. Dawn, I think you were right. Thank you. It was too tight against, it was kind of wound tight at the bottom of my spindle, or my spool. And now we seem to be okay. Phew! I was sweating for a moment there. Again, I'm pulling my top panel nice and tight to make sure that my seam here is nice and tight, and double checking underneath where my lining is to make sure it's lying nice and flat, just along that top because we couldn't clip it into place. Okay. Around the other side. Oh, phew. We're very close to being done. This is the last step besides sewing up that bottom. So the toughest part is going over those top panels, especially if you have used vinyl. Come on, get over there. But I think increasing my stitch length and making sure my thread wasn't too tight on my spool has saved the day. I would have cried if it kept doing it. So I'm so glad. Oh, I did it right there too. So, but I almost got all the way around. That's okay. I think my machine just isn't liking that jump there, which is funny because I've never ever had a problem with the machine. Could be I need to change my needle as well. But that's okay, I'm almost done. Sure, that's loose. Come on, get in there. The challenge of threading under pressure. And I'm failing at it epically. What the heck? There we go. Nope, we're twisted. Sorry about this, guys. Oh, I guess every time it can't go perfectly, right? But I haven't changed my needle on this machine in a while. That could be part of it. I don't know why it is threading this way either. I know, I'm so stressed. The pressure. I seriously have 1 inch left to sew. That is it. Okay. Let's get this last inch done. The bonus is it happened on the back side of the bag, so I would cry if it was the front side of the bag. But this vinyl is actually really good at hiding holes, so it's all good. No, I did it again. There is something going on with my machine. Okay. So I think I need to change my needle out, but I am not going to do that on camera. I will finish this top stitch after, because I want to show you guys how to put together the rest of the bag. So I'm pretty sure it is because my needle is dull. So I will finish the top stitch after I got most of it done. As you can see, top stitch looks pretty good. I just have to top stitch from here to here, but I think I need to change out my needle. But look how nice that looks. It looks nice on the inside too. And you can see when you push in these sides like this and you snap it. So this is where, right here, you kind of have to train it to go in and snap together to get that shape. There, mine kind of goes in already. So that's what it looks like on the sides. It looks really cool. That's what it looks like on the exterior. And now all we have to do is close up that bottom. So what you're going to do is you're going to open up the zipper pocket. You are going to pull out that zipper that we had the opening in the bottom. You're going to reach in and you are going to grab the opening in the bottom of the bag and you're going to pull that up and through the zipper pocket like so. Okay, and then take your clips and clip that opening shut. All the way across. I'm still going to use the same needle. It'll be okay with the cottons. I'm just going to have to go and change the needle so it's a little bit sharper to finish my top stitching because it does not like it for some reason, but I haven't changed that needle I think in a month, so it wouldn't surprise me that is the reason. Okay, and then we're going to take this to the machine and we are going to sew that shut with 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. I'm actually going to rethread my Titan just with black thread and do it over on her. So let me just switch my cameras over. Make sure it did it. Okay. me a minute to rethread her. And move to my other chair because this one's too high. I got too much thread in this. It is cute, hey? Come on, Miss Tiffany. I'm just threading it with black because nobody's going to see these stitches, and I have to change my needle on my Tommy and get it working well to finish up that top stitch. So yes, the toughest part of that bag is top stitching over those top panels, especially if you're all vinyl. I've never had issues there before, but I do think it is just my needle. Get in there. You guys are really getting to see me thread my machines a lot though. Holy moly. Get in there. Gotta trim that edge up a little bit. Oh my goodness. Come on. Keep threading it crookedly. Tiffany and Tommy need to go on a timeout. They are not behaving for me today. All right, so let's sew that bottom shut from those stitch points all the way across, 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. And of course I turned her off. Back stitch. Okay, make sure it's all closed off, and it is. So you can go ahead and stuff that back in through the opening in that pocket into the bottom of the bag. And then you can double check that it's all closed off, which it is. And then you'll see where we had folded it under, we have a really nice edge for doing our pocket shut. So I'm going to put a couple clips in there to hold it in place. Those raw edges, making sure they are all in. And then top stitch that pocket closed with 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Go back to the table. All right. Ooh, I'm still sitting in the tall chair. So you can see our bottom is all closed nicely. Put your pocket inside. So the ridge of that ceiling is on the inside of the pocket. Nobody is going to see that. Again, you can train these seams to go in. Make sure everything matches together. And she is pretty much done. All you have left to do, and everybody does their strap attachments different. All I'm going to do, I'm not going to do it on camera, but I will attach these on with rivets, like bend it over about 1 inch or so. And I will place a rivet right there and bring it around to do the same with the other side. My clips aren't big enough for this vinyl. Like so, making sure your straps are not twisted. You'll do that on both sides, and then look, that's what your bag looks like. It is all done. So you can kind of work at these seams. These seams here, what I usually do is I will take, so you can kind of work them together like so, and I will take a piece of foam and put it here, and then put a binder clip on there and leave it for 24 hours or so, and that'll really help keep the memory of that. And as it gets used, those ends are going to stick in nicely as it goes on. So that's it. That's it. That's all. She is done. I just have 1 inch left of top stitching, and that is it. What do you guys think? Good? I think she turned out really pretty. I mean, seriously. Look at it. She's so nice. Yay! And that's it for Aster School. Yay! Again, you got to see me fight with Tommy a little. I'm going to punish him in a few minutes here. Get that top stitching done. But that is it. I can't wait to see all of your Asters. My favorite pattern of all time, I swear. So yeah, so I'll just set those seams for 24 hours or so. And that is all. I mean, really. And you can see look how great that lining fits in there. Like, it's perfection. It is so good. All right, guys, look at that. 6:01, and we got the whole bag done, except for attaching the handles and that last little bit of top stitching I have to do. So thank you, everybody, for joining this class. I hope all you new people really enjoyed this class, and you'll continue on with us into August. Yeah, Donna actually just oiled Tommy, so he should be acting nice to me, but I think he's jealous with the amount of time I've been spending with Tiffany lately. So, again, if you guys need any help finishing up your Aster bags, definitely reach out through social media, email me, whatever. I am here for you. I will be creating an album to put in our class bags so I can start planning the Aster movie. Make sure you share a picture of the exterior of your bag, or share pictures of everything in your bag if you like, in the Aster group on the Facebook page, and I will pull the pictures from there and put them into the album. We'll play it by ear. I'll say about 2 weeks or so we will be making that movie. If we need a little more time, we'll take a little more time. I will touch base with all of you as we go, but I really want to have all of your Asters in that movie because I really like to show off everybody's great work because you guys are all awesome. Anyways, any questions or anything before we call it? And congratulations for graduating Aster Bag School. Woohoo! Yay! That's it. Almost done him. Her. I gotta just finish. Oh, Tommy. Darn you. Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa. I hope you guys enjoyed this class. I will be seeing almost all of you probably tomorrow and Thursday for the rest of the Baronia classes. It's going to be really weird doing 2 classes in a row on the Baronia, but we have the makeup class from last week and then this week's. So I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and I'm going to go help my husband make coffee, or not coffee, supper, and I will see you guys all tomorrow. Thank you again for being so awesome, and I can't wait next week. Apothecary, start sharing your fabrics and everything. Can't wait to get into that bag. I seriously am super excited about that one. So everybody have a great night, and I will see you. Oh, thanks, Kim. I will see you all tomorrow, okay? Bye.